Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Glow Show. Today, I am so honored to welcome a truly unique guest, Barb Hougas Semlar. She is the kringla queen of Grundy County, right here where we live. I know that I have consumed many kringla from Barb. This amazing woman embodies so many things. So we were talking earlier, she's a Viking, she's a Norwegian, and the mastermind, well, there's a little fun story behind that too, behind Semlar Sweets. She's a loving mom, a wife, and a business owner. Barb, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Janelle. It's great to be here.
So we talked a little bit about your intro, and you said, my husband was kind of the brains behind this business. I love that piece because on the Glow Show, we talk about women and celebrating women, but also like the men who support us and love us through so many things. So tell me a little bit about that. How did this business, this name come up?
Well, 14 years ago, he's like, "You're Norwegian. Why don't you make kringla?" I'm like, "Kringla?" I go, "I guess I could." So I just Googled kringla for a recipe, and you can make it with sour cream or you can make it with buttermilk. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go with the buttermilk." So I got the ingredients, made the dough. It says to refrigerate. So I'm thinking, hey, like sugar cookie, 2, 3 hours, refrigerate it. I get out and they said use very little flour. And it's sticking to my hands. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm throwing tons of flour. I'm like, I'm doing something wrong. What is going on here? It was a mess, a total mess. But somehow I made them. They looked horrible. I'm trying to make it into the beautiful infinity circle or figure eights, whatever. They looked like heck. And that they tasted great. They looked horrible. I'm like, okay, there's got to be a better way. I mean, it was just, I was just like ready to go nuts. I mean, I barely could make it was like I made a few. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
I have tried to make kringla, so I am feeling this. It's so hard. Mine look like big fat thumbs. Like,
oh my God. Well, then what I did is I got a hold of them. They go, "Oh, Barb, you have to refrigerate it overnight." I'm like, okay, that's the secret. You have to refrigerate the dough overnight. And then
you're giving all your secrets away. So
that's no secret. They didn't tell you overnight. That wasn't included in the recipe. It just said refrigerate.
They just thought that your ancestors would come down and you would just naturally know, right?
It's guidance here, So anyway, the next time I met, I'm like, okay, refrigerator. So I just stuck it in the refrigerator and I left. Okay, gotta leave it in there for a while. It's like, let's see, whatever. And I rolled them and I'm like, okay, now I kind of got the hang of it. There's a little knack to it, but it's like you can really. It doesn't. It just takes a little practice.
Is that well? I give up easily on things that This is one of my faults. Is like if I do it once and I can't do it, I'm like, never mind, forget it. Never making kringla again.
So it takes me about 5 seconds to make a kringla.
Oh my gosh. Well, I will have to come and learn from the master. So you 14.
Hey, I've got classes on that. I can take two people at a time. Two people at a time. I've gone through some KitchenAids, let me tell you.
I bet.
I have two right now, whatever. So I could take two people at a time.
Two people at a time for classes. Okay. And I can we're gonna promote the heck out of that.
I'm more than willing to teach anybody. And even give you my recipe. It doesn't bother me.
That's great.
I tweaked it a little bit over to make it my own. So I mean, it's not that.
Because you have to put your own like chef's kiss on it. And I'm Norwegian, but I'm also I shouldn't say mostly, but I have a lot of French Italian blood. And we make bagna calda. And,
I made that word too. I love it.
So we could exchange, like I could make you bagna. But same, it's like our little details that we put in. And I'm happy to share recipes like with people because I want people to enjoy it too. So that's really great. So is it?
No, actually, no, I just started making it for family and friends, whatever. Okay. And just enjoyed it, whatever. And everybody seemed to like it. And I just got better at it. And they look really nice. I'm like, these look really cool. And at Christmas time, I always made all kinds of cookies. You can imagine, I probably made 14 different kinds of cookies and treats and that for Christmas. And I would just make up plates for family and friends. Well, one time I put on Facebook, I have a 3-tiered cooling rack. And I took a picture. I'm like, so it begins, whatever. And somebody on Facebook said, do you sell them? So I talked to my husband. I said, what do you think? He goes, sure, let's do it. I put it on Facebook and it blew up. Literally blew up. And I must have made 60 dozen kringla for Christmas.
My God.
No, that's nothing. That's nothing. Trust
That
me.
so now I was going to ask the next, like,
That's
what's how
nothing.
it has your business
So
evolved
I
over
did
the
that at
years?
Christmas. So I did that
Okay.
at Christmas time. So I come around to about the beginning of November of the next year, and somebody says, "Hey, do you make it for Thanksgiving?" I'm like, "Sure, I can make it for Thanksgiving." Put it on Facebook, blew up again. So I can't remember that Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's not as much, but Christmas was nuts.
I
And so I went through my second year of selling them, whatever. Didn't have a name, just me on Facebook selling them, whatever. And then I get this letter in the mail from the health department, cease and desist. I'm like,
oh
that's the exact words they use. Cease and desist. You need
gosh.
to have a cottage permit to do the side of your home. I'm like, a
Oh,
cottage permit, had no clue, didn't know I
sure.
was breaking the law or doing anything, not breaking the law, I guess,
Yeah.
doing anything I wasn't
Yeah,
supposed
but
to be
yeah.
doing. So then I was like, I immediately called the lady. I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? And she goes, we need to take a class on food service and sanitation managerial class, whatever. It was like a all day class, whatever. You get your license. It's good for 5 years. Then and then every year you just get, you renew your permit, which is like $50. I think the class was like 170, but it was like $100 for the book, or no, $70 for the book and $100 for the class. Well, they don't change the book usually. So it only cost me, $100 a year to do it.
Sure.
Every 5 years, excuse me, every 5 years,
Every 5 years you
every
have to
five
like
years, and
re.
that the managerial for anything, not
Oh
for any
wow.
your certificate or your license is good for 5 years,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I have to renew every year my permit, my cottage permit.
Gotcha.
Now,
Okay.
so then that started with that. So then I was just doing it out of my home. Well, my brother managed the BP south of the river, the one in town. And I walked in there and whatever. And it was a longer line than usual. And I always thought they were pretzels, because I make mine as the infinity circle or a figure eight. And I
Mhm.
always thought it was a pretzel. I didn't pay much attention. All of a sudden I look close, it's like kringla. I'm like, so I bought one. It was not good. And come to find out, they were having a hard time getting them in stock and anything. So I told my brother, I said, I want to bring in a sample. Can you tell me what you think? And he goes, sure. So I brought him in, and then some of the people tried them. These are fantastic. And so he goes, okay, make 15 dozen for each store. I'm like, great. Made them. Called me back like 3 4 days later, said they're gone. I'm like, what? They're gone? And he started, that was 30 dozen gone in like 3 4 days. That's 10 dozen a day gone. I go, okay, I'll make like 20 dozen. Okay, made them. 4 days later, they're gone. I'm like, what the heck? And I just told myself, listen, I will increase it to 25 dozen a week, or $50. Well, it was like, or 50 dozen a week, for the two stores. I will keep an eye on it. You have to call me. If it gets slow, I'll know to do it. So it ended up after 4 years of doing that, and 80 dozen a week is what I was making for the two stores. So it was, but you know what? People go, oh, God, that's taking forever. No, for 80 dozen, it was 2 hours of making the dough and like 7.5 hours of baking. And I would split up 2 days. It was my thing. I went on and he had a licensed kitchen too, that's I should say. So I went to the BP in this little teeny kitchen, my little teeny space, and whipped those babies out. Let me tell you. And then
Oh
as
my
soon as
gosh.
I baked them, they go right in the freezer.
Uh,
So
yeah.
anyway,
So I have a friend who comes all the way from Indianapolis who gets your kringla at the BP.
that's not mine anymore.
Oh, well, it's so she said she can't find it. So here's what's funny is I bought her some from, and then we go to Norway, Illinois every year. My family does the day before Christmas Eve, and we just pick up some lefse and stuff like that. And they had little kringle ornaments.
No
So
way.
she got a kringle ornament. So,
Cool.
so
That's
super cute.
fantastic.
So what's the biggest, we talked about a lot of like positives and some challenges, but what do you think is the biggest challenge of being a small business owner?
It's a challenge. I would say a challenge. I guess keeping up with
Even
it.
like a hurdle that you've had to well, you just said
Oh,
with the,
hurdles. Oh, you know what? In my life, I've had a lot of hurdles. And one of my biggest hurdles is being bipolar or manic depressive. That's huge. I wasn't even diagnosed till I was 39 years old.
how
And
old were you?
I'm 39. I'm
Oh,
63
wow.
now. They go, how in the world did you get through life with dealing with this? Not being diagnosed. let alone being medicated. I was like, I don't know. I just dealt with life and with
Thought
three,
this was just the way it was going to be.
I just dealt with it and just powered on through and I just did it.
And so many people, I think, do that. And they're just like,
Especially as women, don't we?
this is just the way it is. And it's hormones or it's stress or it's one thing or another. So managing mental health and managing a small business too at the same time can really interact, because I don't know about you, but there are days where I just don't want to do the things that I'm supposed to do to keep my business going.
Well, I'm really lucky and I've been stable for quite a few years. It's getting diagnosed and getting medicated is getting diagnosed is one thing, but getting medicated, getting the right meds in the right balance, it takes time. You try this, try that. And plus a lot
Sure.
of medications take a month to get in your system. So it's like after a month it's not working, then you're going into another med. You're trying this one.
But what's the
It
next step?
it took a long time to get the right mix. And so I have been stable for, oh my God, 14, 15 years.
Oh, wow.
We've
That's
been
really
lucky. We've
amazing.
had to tweak a little bit here and there,
Sure.
but
It's a journey, right?
I'm more manic than depressant. There's
Okay.
a 1 and 2 in that, and I just have the one where I'm more manic. I have a lot of energy, which explained all that energy all those years. It's like I was just highly like
Sure.
out there. And then there's depressive, where I mean, in this day and age, there's so much depression and that, and there's so much stigma about just being on meds, in any kind of meds. If it's
100%.
But it has to do with mental health. Now you could be diabetic and have insulin. That's fine, but there's such a stigma about having mental illnesses because it is
People
an
don't,
illness.
yeah, there really is such a stigma. Like it's a truly a chemical imbalance, whether it's in this organ or this organ or this organ or wherever, and you need to be able to balance that. And it really is so interesting because mental health shows its face in so many different ways, you know. And I think maybe that's where the stigma has come from, but it is time to break it. It is time to talk
Yes.
about it.
Yes.
Accept that, I don't know statistics to throw out there, but what we'll also do, because anytime we talk about mental health on this show at all, or anytime I talk about mental health, I do like to include resources for people who just might need that little extra step, a little help. So we'll have some mental health resources for people, but the stigma needs to be broken.
Yes. Oh,
And so,
and the thing is, it's like the difference between more manic, more depressive. It's so much easier to bring somebody down than to bring them up. Depression is
sure.
so hard and so debilitating. Depression, and when you're in the depressive side, that's when you have this side suicidal and ideologies, whatever. That's when you just feel all hope is lost. You can go through trials and tribulation, and it sucks you down so fast, and it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been there. I understand that it's not. It's okay to not be not okay.
Yeah.
You need to talk to somebody about it. Don't
Uh,
don't hide it. Don't take that step and then commit suicide. It's not. I mean, who you leave behind is devastating. I've known
yes.
so many people that have family, friends that committed suicide, and it's devastating. It's just awfully devastating.
It's just awful. Yeah. And
And it's
there
just,
are so many resources, and
yes, there's help out there, people. There's help out there. For all of us.
yes, we can't
Just,
drive that home enough,
oh, there's help.
just for sure.
You have to try it.
Well,
It's
and
not hard.
when we talked earlier before we, we hit record, we talked a lot about faith and God, and or we talked a little bit about that and how God has played a part of your journey. And, you've had such a beautiful life with these children that you have and this marriage that you've had, and we'll touch base on that. But the faith, and that's such a big part too, right?
It's huge for me. I was raised Catholic. My mom was such a devout Catholic. Oh my God. My dad was raised Baptist and converted for my mother to Catholicism.
Oh, wow.
So when I was an adult with one child, my husband had been a born again Christian, and he tried the Catholic Church, and he was like, he'd go to church to me. He goes, I don't get it. Up, down, up, down, up, down. I don't get it. He goes, and so I wanted to go to church as a family with this newborn. And I said, okay, I will go to church. Let's find a church. So I went from a Catholic church to a Southern Baptist church. I was living in Florida at the time. You talk about total extreme opposites, whatever. And I went there and I just made a connection and I accepted Christ as my personal savior at the Southern Baptist church. I throw myself into everything, immerse myself into it, and just went with it. And I tell you what, I mean, I had that base. I had that base of faith and knew I'm
Sure.
not. But see, for me, the Bible was like on the family thing there, and like a shrine, like whatever.
Yeah.
Here I am there, and I had to back up a little bit. When I was a teenager, I babysat for a family, and they were Christians, and they gave me a King James Bible, and the words of Jesus were highlighted in red. And I would like take it out of there and pull the paper back out and at it and, read it a little bit. And I'm like, okay, look at the words of Jesus, whatever they said, start with the book of John. And then I put it back in there and cover back up and put it back in the box. But it wasn't, but I tell you what, it got dusted off big time when I became a Christian. And I still have that Bible to the day. And I have so much highlighted in it. Don't be afraid. It's your book. I
Right.
highlight, underline. I can reference back. And anybody that's really wanting to search for God, get like a study Bible that you can cross reference, get that highlighter, get that
Yeah.
underline. But
Dig in, right?
start with the book of John. That's the book of love. And yeah.
That's a great
And,
advice.
and
And
it's
we
just
can,
that's the best advice. If you're going through anything, you know what? Plug in a little bit. But first of all, just he's there, he's listening. Just say, God, I need your help.
yeah.
And trust me.
And then
Here.
that faith and trust is such a big a game changer.
Yes.
It's a game changer. So let's talk a little bit about your family because I think it's such a great story.
My joys.
Yes. So you were a young mom and then you had a bundle of joy a little bit later in life.
I had 3 kids. I always told myself I would not get married or have kids before I was 21, and I made it. Um, I was 21 in June, and my son was born in July, and I was 21. I made it.
You did it though.
4 years of college, fun, whatever I did, but I was bound and determined I was not going to happen until I was 21, and I did it. So, and then I had 3 kids. I have Eric, Diane, and Jessica Stray. And right now they're 41, 40, 88. So she just turned 37, whatever, and 88, 37, and an 18-year-old. An 18-year-old. You talk about keeping you young. Let me tell you, you want to keep young? Have a kid later in life. I was 44. He was born in April. And I was 44, and in June I turned 45. Let me tell you, and it was scary though, because I'm the older mom. They want to do all kinds of testing. They're just like, and I'm like, this child's not going anywhere, even if I'm I mean, no, it was like such a minute possibility that something could go wrong or I could miscarry. I'm like, well, this baby's not going anywhere anyway, so why do this testing? This is crazy.
Sure.
So anyway, a little bit down the road with it, it's like, it's like get tested, I'd get an ultrasound, whatever. And it's kind of funny. There's a verse that says, if you delight in the Lord, he'll give you your heart's desire. Okay, God, my husband wants a boy. I wanted to be healthy. I had a boy and 2 girls. I was going to make it the bookend, 2 boys. And I just stood on that. And I just really believed it. I'm like, it's going to be. And the day before we were going to Loyola for the 3D ultrasound, whatever, my husband just broke down. I don't care if it's a girl. I just want her to be healthy. I don't care. And he's breaking up crying. And Satan's got a way of creeping in and putting that doubt in your. And I started getting scared. I'm like, oh my God, what if something really is? And I
Sure.
choking up and I excused myself and I went to the bathroom. And I had this book called Whatever Kids Should Know. It's a little kid's devotional. And even though my kids were older, it was still in the back of my toilet. Been there all the time. So Diane is running low on battery. So anyway, I just went in there, and for whatever reason, I didn't read it that morning. And I opened it up, and it's my verse. You talk about affirmation.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
looked at that, and I walked out, and my mouth was, and Jason's like, what? I'm like, it's my verse. And I never told him about my verse, I
Yeah.
mean, so
What a
I was like,
beautiful sign.
and I was like, I go, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And he was. And there wasn't one red flag when I had that ultrasound. There was nothing.
And
And,
now he's 18.
and he's 18. And I tell you what, almost 19. He'll
Oh,
tell you
yeah.
that. Almost 19, whatever. And
He's-
adulting, whatever.
Yes.
Him
We have one
adulting.
that's also going to be 18. So
Yes. She's gorgeous.
oh, thank you. Yeah, she's a good girl. We got, lucky. We also have 4. So between my husband and I, we have he has my stepdaughter just turned 29 today. And then
Happy
my
birthday.
son is 26 and then 24 and then 18. So
Yeah.
kind of the same, not, quite as big of a
Yes.
break in that, but okay. So, gosh, our time is going by super fast, but let's talk just a little bit about this is always such a hard question, but what legacy do you hope that you leave? You have so many beautiful stories about overcoming, and I love your kringla story because it's so much more than just a cookie. It's so much more than, what it brings for people is a taste of their heritage, of their youth.
Yes.
It brings back a memory. Oh my gosh, we had this when my grandma, all of these beautiful things.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, I bet. And for you, I love that story because my whole career is based around helping people rediscover or discover their gifts and create a life around it. And so between your business and your family and your marriage, what legacy, what advice do you have that you want to leave with us?
Head first, family second. And in
I
your
love it.
family, you put your husband first and then your kids. Because without your husband, you wouldn't have your kids.
That's a
And
great
you
piece
have
of
to
advice.
date your spouse. Date your spouse. Because those kids are going to be grown and gone. And then what are you guys going to have? What are you going to have?
Right.
So just God and family and just, and friends, of course.
Yeah.
And girls, keep your friends. Make time for your friends. Oh my God. You have to. You have to. And don't lose yourself. Do
Yeah.
not lose yourself in titles. Just be the best. Be true to yourself. Take care of yourself first. Because if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of everybody else?
Right. Yeah.
As we as moms, we run ourselves down, and then there's nothing left for us.
For sure.
Where you have to find time for yourself.
You have to find time. And like you said, as a business owner, as mom, as wife, all these titles, and putting yourself and remembering who you are and that you need to be loving yourself just as much as every other piece in your life is such an important message. So, well, Barb, thank you so much. I'm so glad we got to connect, and I can't wait to talk to you more, and I can't wait to eat more of your kringla and hear more of your story. Second installment sometime of the Glow Show.
They don't call me. I tell you, I had a teacher call me motor mouth, and I wasn't.
No, I love
all
it.
my report cards always said excessive talker all the time.
Me too. So we're in the perfect space.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you very, very much. I am so glad. Thanks to everyone tuning into the Glow Show.
Yes.
If you want to find out how to order some kringla, how to hear more about Barb's story, if you want to talk to her about her mental health journey, what's the best way that they can connect with you?
You can call me anytime, 815-258-4102. Stop by 975 Scottsdale Court. I'm usually around. If you call me, there's been many times where I've been somewhere and I'm like, okay, I'll run home and get your kringla. Stop by. I'm always willing to talk to anybody about it. I tell you what, if you're struggling, call me. You need kringla, call me. And not only the kringla, but the fudge too. I've got 14
we didn't even talk about the fudge.
14 kinds of fudge.
14.
I always looking for different recipes and things to change up. I've deleted some, added some.
Yeah.
So,
How fun. Oh my gosh. Well, now I'm hungry. So thank you so much. I can't wait to see you. We are lucky that we live in the same community. So hopefully we run into each other soon.
That's
Not
awesome.
every guest lives down the road, but this happens to be one that does. So thanks for all of your time and bless you. And we will talk to you very soon. Thanks for tuning into the Glow Show. All right.
Thanks for having me. All right. Take care.
Bye.